Daurian, tell me, what is it that you like the most about our job?
Well, aside from tasting amazing culinary delights, I find our job exciting because it provides opportunities to learn a lot about their cultures and people.
Couldn't agree more. Nowadays, it's crucial for countries to find common ground to make their bonds wider and stronger. Today, we will be able to create such bonds with our guest. He comes from a neighboring Central Asian country, which is quite familiar to us.
Let's meet our guest, Saidikram Niyazkhodzhaev, the ambassador of Uzbekistan to Kazakhstan.
Your Excellency,
Hello.
welcome to our program.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Our program is called Talk and Cook, and basically, that's what we're going to do today. We welcome you to the program. Please follow us to the kitchen.
We are ready to start cooking. Please share your plans with us. What kind of ingredients do we have here and what are we going to cook? As most people already know, plov is the first dish that comes to mind when we talk about Uzbek cuisine. There are more than 120 types of plov, and it's a very popular dish. However, today I want to cook something different.
This dish is called Kazan-Kabab.
There are many methods of cooking it.
I'll use the one that I like the most.
Usually I prefer experimenting, adding some ingredients here and there. The main ingredients of this dish are meat. We will use lamb loin, lamb tail fat and potatoes.
As for the decoration, we have tomatoes, cucumbers, and greens.
Everything sounds pretty clear to me.
And of course, we are gonna need spices for the meat marinade. This is the method that requires only 2 hours of cooking, which is quite fast compared to others.
Can't wait to start the process.
We won't be frying the meat, but braising it.
Okay, got you.
It's a classical way to cook this dish.
Let's try then. You can lead the process, and we will do our best to assist you.
Firstly, we need to heat the cooking pot. As for the talking part, I should start by saying that Central Asian countries in general have such a rich cuisine because of their great Silk Road. It stretched through our territories from China all the way to Europe. Naturally, our culture has been influenced by that.
Of course, it absorbed the diversity.
And different regions add different touches to the dishes that are common among us.
Okay, let's add some sunflower oil to the pot. It needs to be heated. Do we need a lot of it? Yes, we need 500 grams of oil.
1 kilogram of potatoes and 1 kilogram of meat to make delicious Kazan-Kabab.
While the oil is heating, we can start chopping the meat.
The most important process, I imagine.
Quite so.
Meat is important in Central Asian cuisine.
This meat is particularly good. Let's keep chopping.
Maybe we can help with the vegetables in the meantime. Of course, could you please put 1 tomato into boiling water? We'll need it for the marinade.
Should we just dip it or place it there for some time?
Place it into the water.
That's an interesting technique.
Then you need to peel off the skin. Got it. For how long should I keep it in the water exactly? Just until you see that the skin starts cracking and peeling away from the flesh.
We're using lamb. Are there any alternatives?
We can use other types of meat, of course. It all depends on the person's health. If you've got high pressure, it's better to use lean meat such as beef.
I see, but according to the classical recipe, it's lamb.
That's right. How often do you cook this dish? Well, I guess it depends on the occasion. You've mentioned there are different cooking methods and types of this dish.
Do they differ from region to region?
Actually, the difference comes from the person who cooks.
So it's up to the cook.
It's up to the cook, yeah, and cooks like to apply their creative skills. There is no such thing as a bad dish, only badly cooked one. One needs to be able to cook properly. Okay, the meat is all chopped. How's the tomato? It's time to peel the skin off, I guess.
Good. Let's peel it off. And now we're chopping some onions.
Yes, we need them for the marinade.
So the tomato and onions go into the marinade.
That's right.
Let's continue talking about the cuisine. You've already mentioned a bit about Central Asian cuisine. What about Uzbek cuisine in particular? We know how rich and diverse it is. What are the main elements? Some other popular dishes aside from those we already know. What would you highlight?
When speaking of Uzbek cuisine, everyone thinks about plov, of course.
True. It just immediately pops up.
Plov is by all means our signature dish. Aside from that, we have such popular dishes as mashki chiri and mashkurda, which both include mung beans as a key ingredient. However, every region has its own peculiarities. Some are famous for soups, like this delicious meat and rice soup mastava.
In Khorazm, there is a special dish called shivit oshi. Some are famous for soups, like this delicious meat and rice soup mastava. In Khorazm, there is a special dish called shivit oshe. It resembles the broth that you serve after your national horse meat dish. And as this broth, shivit oshi also facilitates the digestion process.
If we come back to Kazan-Kabab, is it a traditional dish that originated in Uzbekistan, or is it common in other Turkic countries?
Actually, it's a Central Asian dish. Previously, it was cooked solely from meat, but later on, the recipe started to include potatoes.
Only meat?
Yes, the meat was marinated and then cooked in a pot.
You've mentioned different regions and their cooking traits. What about your region? Which region do you come from? I'm from Tashkent. The regional dishes there are mashchecheve and mashkurda.
So these dishes can be regarded as signature dishes of Tashkent?
You could say so. I think you could add naron to that list. It's also quite popular in Tashkent. Okay, I'm done. Should I chop the tomato? Yes, please. Chop it to small pieces.
Now we'll mix it all up and add spices.
What kind of spices?
This is cumin.
It appears to be the main spice in Uzbek cuisine, doesn't it?
That's true.
Pay attention here. I'm not adding salt to the meat yet.
If we do it now, the meat will lose its juiciness and become dry. Oh, we wouldn't want that.
No, definitely not.
Let's start marinating the meat.
Will it take to marinate?
By the time we are done with the other ingredients,
Great.
It will be properly marinated. Please tell us about your work here in Kazakhstan.
How long have you been living here?
I moved here in March 2018.
It's been quite some time.
As they say, I've survived 7 winters here.
You're practically a local.
To be honest, I have many memories connected to this city. The first time I visited was in 1982. I also traveled to Shymkent a lot.
Then you can clearly notice how drastically this city has changed during all these years.
Absolutely. Were you working as an engineer when you first came here? No, I was a student back then. It was November, already quite cold. I stayed here for a week and managed to survive. Now it's all completely different. Okay, let's start frying the potatoes.
Let's do that.
It should be covered in nice golden crust when it's ready, so it will look completely different.
We can already notice a change in the color. And look, the crust is already forming.
Yes, after frying all the potatoes, we'll need to get rid of the oil and clean the pot. It should be clean and dry before we move to the meat. Let's go back to our conversation. I have also been to Almaty back in 2018 and I've visited Aktau.
После того, как я тут уже побывал, после того, как я съездил в Актау, Мангистаускую область, да?
But never managed to go back there again, unfortunately.
До этого
How so?
вообще я в Алмате мне не приходилось. Я в Chimkent, да, был.
I visited Chimkent while I was a student. After that, I came to Kazakhstan in 2016.
году тогда.
And the country was preparing for the Expo 2017.
Год Экспо 2017. Там было
There was a lot of constructions going on, and we monitored the process.
правительстве Узбекистана мы приезжали.
I was working for the Uzbek government during the time.
So it will look completely different.
17 год Экспо прекрасный.
Expo 2017 was such a grand event. There were so many tourists and attractions. The city expanded so much, but the area near Khanchatur and some other parts of the city were still a bit empty back then.
Yes, some areas were not developed yet.
А сейчас вот за последние
And during the 5 years that passed by since that, the city has completely changed. Astana is a beautiful city that is growing and developing day by day.
Казахстана и, наверное, очень комфортные условия для молодежи. Очень комфортно.
And I want to point out that there are a lot of opportunities for the youth here. It's something I have
Я
noticed.
видел и имею право, наверное,
At times it gets really cold here, but you get used to it.
спорить.
Besides, I think the climate has changed recently.
Холодно бывало. Но сейчас уже климат поменялся.
That's true, the climate is changing. The winters here are becoming less harsh.
В этом году
Speaking of the climate, I don't know if you or any Astana resident have noticed it,
в этом году
but the air in the city seems to be better now.
воздух.
It's much more clean.
Да, вот
I think so.
раньше мы
When it was less windy, the air used to be filled with smoke, but now it's not the case.
обратите внимание,
I dare say we can relate it to the fact that thermal power stations now have switched to gas.
надо сказать,
Also, the city municipal services have improved the quality of their work.
очень хорошо работает.
I know what I'm talking about since I had worked in this sphere.
Она.
So you know all the ins and outs. I see.
И что интересно,
This job requires a huge responsibility and causes many situations when you have to listen to complaints.
но выслушиваешь очень много разных вещей.
It causes a great deal of stress, I imagine.
Вот обратите
For example,
внимание,
right
сейчас
now
на
the
свет
water is
выключен,
running,
да,
the lights are
нормально
working
работает
just
вода,
fine,
да, мы
and we don't
про
even
них
think
вообще не
about such
вспоминаем.
things, nor about those who make sure it all works properly. Yes, there are so many people who work non-stop 24/7 to make sure the smooth operation of all the services.
Мы сразу возмущаемся, спрашиваем, задаемся вопросами, куда идут.
Whenever there is a problem, however small, we immediately start complaining and demanding explanations.
По-разному бывает. Порой мы сами
But the reason behind such problems could be an accident, for example.
те или иные
Sometimes even
аварии,
people themselves cause these accidents to happen. For example, there isn't enough water because of low water pressure. But no one thinks about the fact that some people use drinking tap water for their gardens.
об этом, да?
Speaking of water, I have a question.
What is the situation regarding water resources in our region now?
Considering the region and the global situation too.
We need to implement technologies that help conserve our water resources. Recently, the issue of water consumption for agricultural purposes has been discussed during the 86th session of Water Resources Commission. I must say that water service employees have worked very well on this. They've done everything in their power to decrease the damage that could affect agricultural producers. Both Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan provided enough water resources to cover agricultural needs considering the current amount of resources. It went great, and the harvest was successful. It has been decided that during the growing season in 2024, we will allocate more than 900 billion of cubic meters of water. Together with our colleagues in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, we have managed to reserve enough in Chardara and Aydarkol reservoirs. They operate under normal conditions. Everything is proceeding according to the plan.
Thanks to that, I think southern regions will not experience any problems.
It can be said that our countries have mutual agreements on a higher level, right?
What do you think about the relationship dynamics between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan?
The dynamics of our bilateral relations is very good. We signed a strategic partnership agreement, and during the state visit of your president to Uzbekistan in 2022, we signed a treaty on allied relations. It contains the details of all the issues and plans we are working on together, detailed outline of our goals and actions. In particular, it includes the issues of industrial cooperation, cultural and humanitarian issues. Everything has been evaluated and discussed, and as of today, we do not have any problems. There are technical issues that are solved by specialists. Those same power engineers and water resources specialists are working on solutions and their implementation. As you can see, our relations are resilient and strong. This year, Prime Minister of Uzbekistan visited Almaty at the Almaty Digital event, and the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan came to Uzbekistan with a non-official visit.
He went to Khiva, didn't he?
That's right. There was an exhibition that he attended. We cooperate in a lot of ways, and there are many directions we work together on. Our water resources specialists, Ministry of Investment, Industry and Trade representatives have also visited Kazakhstan. We are working on united positions in the economic and trade sector. Our goal is to increase the trade turnover to $10 billion.
That's quite a significant number for our market.
Indeed, in 2018, the goal was to increase the turnover to $5 billion, and we wondered how we would achieve that.
But we managed to.
Yes, surprisingly, we did.
So it's very possible.
The dynamic seems to be positive. True, in 2023 there was a certain decline, but this year the dynamics is growing. I think we will have quite good indicators, and we will be able to achieve the goal of $10 billion turnover.
By the way, the tourism sector in Central Asia seems to be developing rapidly nowadays. Are there ways we can cooperate in this sphere?
Actually, we already are working together. We are developing tourist packages.
What a wonderful idea!
Indeed, this idea is amazing. One project has already been implemented. It's a tour around the whole region. Now there is even a direct flight from Samarkand to Turkestan, some of the most ancient cities in the region. Many tourists who are interested in history and culture can come to Turkestan. For example, enjoy their time there and then quickly fly over to Samarkand. There is another direct flight operating between Almaty and Samarkand, and Almaty and Tashkent. This direction is extremely popular considering that many people from all over Uzbekistan travel to Almaty so often. Now it's really convenient for them.
It's also interesting that many tourists come to this region from abroad.
And naturally, once they are in Kazakhstan, they want to visit Uzbekistan too, and vice versa. They can come to Uzbekistan and then fly to Kazakhstan.
There are 3 direct flights per day.
Yeah, why not visit both?
Can you imagine? Every day there are 3 direct flights from Almaty to Tashkent.
This is incredible.
And all the planes are full of passengers. There are many tourists that travel in both directions. Okay, the potatoes are ready. Let's remove the oil and clean the pot. Many people know that if we put the meat right now, it will burn. To prevent that, we will cut the lamb tail fat to thin slices and place it on the bottom of the pot. It's a famous technique, or did you come up with it? We usually do this in our family. Place the slices of lamb tail fat on inside the pot to prevent the meat from burning.
Now let's add some salt.
Okay, the meat is inside. It's time to place the potatoes and then we'll wait a bit till the fat melts.
So we don't need to add any other oil or butter?
No, just some more salt.
Okay, let me do that.
Because we haven't added any salt to the potatoes.
So the dish will be cooked in this fat, and there's no need to add anything else, right?
That's right.
Okay, we're measuring everything by eye. Hopefully it will turn out great.
It's going to be fine. Everyone who cooks at home usually measures by eye.
So now we wait.
As soon as the fat melts, we will hear the sizzling sound. Then we can close the lid. While we will be waiting for our dish to be ready, I will share some interesting facts about Uzbek cuisine. Plov is one of the signature national dishes of Uzbekistan, an asset of the rich Uzbek culture with a centuries-old history. According to numerous studies, the first mention of this dish dates back to the 2nd century BC. During that time, the Great Silk Road traversed the territory of modern Uzbekistan.
Today, there are more than 200 different recipes of this dish, and each region of the country is proud of its unique way of cooking.
It's usually cooked in large cauldrons over an open fire, and according to tradition, it's done by men. Plov is considered an integral part of big celebrations such as weddings, birthdays, and national holidays. It's a symbol of hospitality and unity. Another interesting fact is that in 2016, Uzbek plov was included on the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage, which emphasizes its cultural and historical significance. Uzbek tea is not just a drink, It's a whole culture of tea drinking. In Uzbekistan, tea is traditionally consumed from small pialas, special cups without handles. The tea drinking ceremony is accompanied with sweets such as baklava and chak-chak. It's important to note that in Uzbekistan, the favor goes to green tea since it's considered refreshing and healthy. Tea drinking is an integral part of Uzbek hospitality and traditions of social interaction. Just a few minutes left till the dish is ready. In the meantime, let's prepare a salad that will go nicely with our Kazan-Kabab.
Let's start with onions. You usually add onions to your national dish with horse meat, right?
It facilitates the digestion process. The salad that we are cooking now is called achuchuk.
Let's explain what exactly achuchuk is to our audience.
From Uzbek language, achuchuk means spicy and sour. This salad is delicious.
It's a perfect addition to the dish. It's tasty, juicy, and spicy.
And very easy to make. Did someone teach you to cook, or did you learn on your own?
Kazan-Kabab.
My father taught me how to make Kazan-Kabab, while my mother taught me to cook flour products.
I think we've prepared everything.
So the long-awaited moment has come.
Great, the smell is amazing.
Так, берем щипчики. Так, и вот так. Ой, а что? Выкладываем.
We will use these cooking tongs to get the potatoes. I see the meat beneath. Yes, here it is.
Мясо.
Oh, I can't wait to taste it.
Так.
Our dish looks and smells amazing, all thanks to you. Now we can proceed to the table and taste it together. Are you ready?
Great idea, let's go. As you say in Kazakh, ash bolsun, right?
Kazakça aş bolsun dedi.
That's right.
Okay, we are ready to have a bite of this amazing dish that we've all been working on today. Shall we?
Of course.
Let me serve the dish. Here you go.
Thank you. Have a nice meal.
What do you think?
Как?
Do you like it?
It's very tasty.
Мясо прям
The meat is so tender, the marinade worked wonders.
такой вкус, оно прям,
It just melts in my mouth.
и я не удивлен, учитывая, как
I'm not surprised considering how much care you've put into the cooking process.
It's delicious. What about you? How would you rate your own work?
According to your standards, the meat is indeed delicious and tender.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here. Thank you for sharing your recipe with all the details and telling us the intricacies of Uzbek cuisine. It's very popular in Kazakhstan, and I dare say everyone here loves it.
I hope you liked this dish. It would be great if you could come to Uzbekistan and try it there. Not just Kazan-Kabab, but also other dishes.
We'd love to come.
I think we should organize a gastronomic tour for you. That way you'll be able to try so many delicious things there.
Do such tours exist in Uzbekistan?
Absolutely.
Organizing food tours is an excellent idea.
Ну и какая трапеза?
Seems we've finished with our main dish, but there is no dinner without a nice cup of tea.
Мы приготовили для вас наши казахские
Let's
национальные.
enjoy it with some desserts that we've prepared for you.
Здесь у нас имеется
These are national Kazakh sweets and snacks, Kort, Erimshik, Gent. Oh, Erimshik is my favorite.
I'm sure you're familiar with all of them.
как в
What do you think about today's program?
обычный опыт.
Это очень хороший опыт.
This is a nice experience. First of all, the guests can demonstrate their culinary abilities.
И в то же время они
Secondly, they introduce their homeland to the audience,
дают информацию о стране,
telling about its interesting features and cuisine.
естественно, о кулинарных способностях
I think it's great.
народа.
And another great thing about today is that aside from cuisine and culture, we've discussed some important plans about the development of our region. And as you've mentioned, Central Asian culture is very rich.
Это отличный способ
It's a great way to learn new things about our people, our neighbors.
в близких народах, безусловно.
Мы должны больше
It would be great if there were more such projects like this, so that we could show the world the very best this region has.
у нас нету.
And we have a lot of good things here.
Откровенно говоря, все наши продукты, да,
All our
они
products are organic, clean, and of very high quality.
очень высокого качества. И, естественно, туристы, гости, которые приезжают в наши страны, они должны отведать это все. И потом почаще
Guests who come to our country should taste our delicious dishes, explore our culture, and remember the pleasant moments they spend in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan.
И что интересно,
Each region has something unique to offer in terms of food and other delights.
That's absolutely true. And since you are our guest at the program, we cannot let you leave empty-handed.
Позвольте мне.
спасибо.
Allow us to present you with a small gift. It's gent covered in chocolate.
Здесь у нас небольшой такой презент. Здесь, как видите, шоколад, а внутри вы найдете жент.
Ух ты.
Wow, this looks amazing.
Вообще,
Yes, the box is nice. The style incorporates some national elements, since zhent is a national product. It's one of the most popular Kazakh desserts, made from roasted millet with butter and sugar.
такие подарки мы должны.
This is the kind of gifts we should display on the international market. We have many wonderful products and traditions, and it would be great to share them. The fact that the gift consists of sweets also gives a special meaning to it.
Понимаете, когда дарят
It
сладость,
conveys the wishes of sweet life to the receiver.
жизнь была сладкой.
That's true. And we wish you sweet life.
Thank you.
And we're also thankful for your participation in our program. On this sweet note, we finished today's episode. You can always watch all the episodes of Talk and Cook program on our channel, Silkway TV.